We are back for another episode of the Childish Grown Up Show. I am one of three co-hosts, Maurice Hunter III. As I said, we have Ash Bash, Mia G, my two wonderful co-hosts that kills it every single time we get on this mic. How you ladies doing?
Feeling pretty good.
I'm doing.
Hmm.
It's Monday,
It's
or
my yeah.
when they hear this, I don't know what day it'll be, but
It'll be Friday. They're gonna be like, oh man, I thought this was chill. I thought we was vibing out. It's like, all right, by the time y'all hear this, it's like how I feel versus when y'all get this is like totally different.
okay, rewind. It's Friday.
Nah, but truly, y'all, like we told y'all on the last episode, moving forward, every month, since most times in the month, there's 4 weeks, we're gonna have a theme or a concept for what movies that we're gonna pick, kind of streamline it like that. And then the last week of the month, we'll be doing our TGI Fridays. We want to show love to the television side of nostalgia because I personally wouldn't feel right. Shout out to Ash for Flash with Ash giving us some of those nods into it. Which obviously propels even more when we do episodes like this TGIF. I know that y'all heard our previous one. We talked about sitcom bops. Some of our favorite sitcom bops, and that was a tough one. This might be even tougher. So, but we here, man. So hopefully we're making y'all Friday dope. I know this is a switch up from our normal releases on Wednesday, but the good thing about it is y'all get this Friday, and then y'all can get the movie review on Wednesday. So it's a shorter gap than usual. So before we get into the conversation about television couples, I want to acknowledge some of our Stoop kids from our last review. Actually, our review before the last. Or did we? You know what? I think we may have spoke about it. We already read about the Jason's lyric, I believe, right?
We did.
Yeah, because we did the Notebook. Okay, so
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
all right. Well, disregard this. So let's get into this. So how I want to lay it out here, ladies, is we all grew up in the '90s. We're '90s babies. We take pride, honor in that. It's like right up there with being black. It's like right there. Like it. No, I'm stretching. I'm reaching, but seriously, we take a lot of pride in being '90s babies, loving the era that we came up in and the things that we got to witness and see and experience. And I want to first just see what y'all thoughts are like being a kid, even going into teenagehood or whatever. What did TV couples mean to y'all? Like, was it like something y'all was like invested in? Was it something like, oh, it's just a part of the show? Because I mean, we got different various of TV couples that some like I didn't really care, and there's some like you were invested where you wanted them to be together in real life. I want to see y'all gauge for it. Ash, I'll throw in your court first. Like, what did TV couples mean to you? And then also, what is like your earliest couple that you can recollect that you kind of remember as like a couple on television?
Man, that's tough. TV couples definitely meant a lot. I mean, it's kind of one of the reasons I would be drawn into a show. Like, you want to see your favorite couple on there, how they argue or flirt or, just any type of dynamic with each other. Very important. It draws you in. It makes you look forward to the next episode or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first couples that I remember, sheesh. I mean, I was a youngin', but probably the Cosbys.
Oh,
Claire and Bill, I forget his name, but
oh, Cliff.
Cliff and Claire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, more vintage, more, seasoned couple, but a couple nonetheless. So probably them, yeah.
Oh. I would say you, Meg G. What is your earliest recollection of
Oh man.
remembering a couple on television, as well as what did it mean to you just watching television back then?
So I'll say, man, Ash will understand as a lover girl herself. But Growing up, seeing couples on TV is what kind of gives you your idea of what love is like. It's even more so than movies because it's like you
Mm-hmm.
grow with these couples from week to
Mm-hmm.
week, whatever, and you're like, ooh, when I grow up and I find my person, this is what it's going to be like. This witty banter or just like the dynamic, you're like, it could be, you have so much to pick from. I think my first I'm trying to think because well, who's to say? Because
I
my
mean, well,
early,
like, what do you like? I don't. Maybe first is too much to dig into memory, but more so like when you go back to being a kid, like what couple just comes to mind right away from like that era of watching? That's probably the better question. I'm sorry, I should have worded it
Corey
that way.
and Topanga.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Corey and Topanga.
Corey and Topanga. Like watching them grow from like seventh grade to like grown was the most epic
Yeah,
television. Like I was so invested in Corey and Topanga's relationship.
yeah.
I think that was the one that did it for me.
Hmm. For me, going back a little bit, like I still watch a lot of. I watch a few dramas where it's like women led, shows, and my wife always like, why you always watching these shows? I'm like, well, because there's always guys. Like it could be women led, but it's always gonna be a guy on the other side of it. Like that's predominantly what happens. So I'm seeing their side. Like for example, Sex and the City. Like I watch it, but it's like there's guys throughout this though, like the whole time, or like a girlfriend. It's like it doesn't bother me to watch these things, and I don't feel any kind of way about myself watching them because I'm like, there's always a guy, and I'm like, I'm seeing through the lens of a woman, and I get to see the guy kind of from a third person view, so I'm always intrigued in that sense. So I guess as a kid watching it definitely taught me how to feel, I guess, like somehow, some way. Sitcoms, of course they put a little laughter in it, but there's always a serious episode. I mean, obviously, the obvious thing that comes to mind, I mean, the low hanging fruit for us. I'll go into the one that comes to mind, but the low hanging fruit is obviously Martin Lawrence, Gina Waters. Like obviously, the breakup thing. Like as a kid, just remember that. Like, I fine, Gina, I will marry you, and like just the whole like him finding himself. That was a huge thing back then. But like for me, like when I think back, I think about back in the day. As you're gonna relate, because obviously we grew up together with siblings, not having cable, and so you got to watch whatever's on the basic, right? And on the basic, there happened to be this show called Friends. And there happened to be these two young adults named Rachel and Ross. And that by far is what comes to my mind early because, like, again, I grew up on Martin. We grew up on a lot of like classic black sitcoms as well as all sitcoms, like um, what Mia was speaking to. But this was like something that it felt like I got to get more invested because I don't know what the times of Martin was showing on basic cable all the time. Like I don't know, but Friends was a sure shot. You're going to see it, and then afterwards is The Simpsons. Like you're for sure going to. And for me, that was the first time I got to get like on that journey as far as watching a couple from episode to episode and date each other and then come back together. And of course, you got the B plots with the other friends that become couples. So yeah, um, I throw the ball in your court this time on Mia. So in this process, we wanted to talk about some of our favorite TV couples.
Yeah.
Was it smooth like butter, or was this really a challenge? What was your process like trying to dive into the archive of so many '90s and 2000s television shows?
I stayed with what was fresh in my like what would come to mind when I thought about my favorites. It's not something that I had to dig too deep for. And I got
Okay,
six couples. And I mean, it wasn't too difficult. I think because I can think of a lot of 90s couples when it comes to my favorite TV couples.
Mm.
I had a nice little concise list.
Mm. Okay. What about you, Ash? What was the process like?
I was struggling. It was hard for me because I'm drawn to movies a lot too. So I'm thinking of movies or
Hmm.
so it was hard. I mean there are couples that are not necessarily my favorite couples too. So then it was like, okay, yeah, they're a
Mm-hmm.
couple, but I wouldn't say my favorite. So it's like, do you throw them on there just because they're, you're used to seeing them? It might be a show you watch, but it's still not my favorite. So I think I struggled with the favorite part of it. But I landed with five. So I think I'll surprise y'all maybe on a few. So
Mm. Yeah, I kind of echo the same sentiments as Ash. I came into it probably with the Mia G mentality. I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy. But what I wanted to try to do is challenge the depth of research with these couples because there's like, I'm going to acknowledge some of them that were just layups right away for me that I was like, I'm not going to put them on here, but I want to acknowledge them because it's obviously it's a given. Um, but yeah, trying to like kind of think outside of the box and trying to kind of deep dive, finding couples that I really enjoyed and like liked for real and not just found interesting. That was a challenge. Um, so, Ash, you wanna start us off? Y'all want to do any honorable mentions, or we want to call like these are like cheat codes, layups, whatever y'all want to call, where it's like, okay, this is a given. Uh,
I mean, I have a given on my list,
Me too.
which we already you already said, so they're
Yeah.
definitely
okay,
on
so
there.
that's one of my actually what I said that's on y'all list and what I've already said, which is obviously Rachel and Ross. Uh, and so Martin and Gina, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I think we all probably have that. That's cheat code.
I put that in the cheat code. That's why. But I'll get into it with y'all since y'all have it on your list. But I just since I'm do you have stuff like this? Oh, well, me is talking. So I got Ross and Rachel, Martin and Gina, and Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. So those are like the layups that I didn't put on my list, but I put them there for acknowledgement. Really, Corey and Topanga would be there for me too because it was so good. I
They
was like,
number
this is
like
excellent.
they're number one on my list.
Okay.
I do
Well,
have Ross and Rachel as well.
okay, nah, no doubt. Well, then let's go into it. Like, not no particular order. Let's just talk about these TV couples. Ash, like, what do you want to? Who you want to bring up first?
Let's go with the Martin and Gina.
Yeah.
Low hanging fruit layup, like I said. It was like an opposites attract kind of thing. She was like in the corporate world. Martin was more free flowing and funny. Just he was a lighter spirit, and he was a safe space for her to come off a corporate job and just be able to come home and it's just their banter. Obviously, I mean, this is a layup. It's really self-explanatory. Like they're fire, and it was an opposites attract thing for me. It was a realistic relationship to me. Also, it wasn't all lovey-dovey and fluff. And I love the couples that keep it a buck. So, yeah.
Hmm. What say you about that, Mia?
Listen, they're definitely the cheat code when it comes to 90s couples. I love it felt like Martin brought out the goofy side of Gina. And you could see as the seasons progressed, her getting funnier and funnier
Oh
just by
yes.
being in
Hmm.
his like sphere. And they just always had each other's back. And there are so many iconic moments with them,
Hmm.
iconic episodes between them, like the high school reunion episode when she's all messed up. But and like Ash said, it wasn't all peaches and rainbows. They had some conflict that they had to get through, which is what, just like, the best TV couples always have not a lot of conflict, but something that they have hurdles that they have to overcome. And that makes it better seeing them end up together. And I feel like the conflict between Martin and Gina was dramatic for how funny the show was. Like it
Yeah.
was that moment where you're like, ooh, oh
Great.
shoot.
Great point.
But love them. Definitely an all-time favorite. Chef's Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like there are a lot of great TV couples, but I don't think any of them like match that energy. There's
Mm-hmm.
one on my list that comes close.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different. It's
Yeah.
still different.
I like how you put that there. Actually, I did look up. We do have a couple comments about the Notebook. So, but I just gotta get it out. We'll deal with that next week. I got to do my due diligence. I'd be mad at myself if I didn't. But anyway, um, speaking of Martin and Gina, absolutely for all the things y'all said, the depth and for it to be a sitcom, comedic sitcom. This is not even a rom com. Like this is not a rom com television show, but the level of romance there, like you believe in the intimacy of them. Like they actually had an episode of to try to bet that they could, basically get you to break, your abstinence in this episode, what I mean, for however many said hours, which is silly because your friends put you up to and they're not even in a relationship. So that, what I mean, but that stuff happens, And so just like their intimacy, I believe it, like the red pumps. Come on, like all of that, like that was a thing. It's like, that episode, I believe in the intimacy. I believe in the Gina not being superficial, like how she really loves Martin. Like she, like no matter if she's making more money than him, she just really loves him and believes in him and got his back. And like he really loves her and he know her value. That's why he get jealous and gets ridiculous because he know, like, and it's interesting with Martin because Martin was he was low-key a player. Like he had it going on a little bit, like from what we understand, even when they get married, he take the ring off at the gym. Like he had it going on too. But Gina was like so far out of the realm that like he knew he scored high, and so that just that dynamic, like I said, from two different worlds and how it works, and it works perfectly. I just believe them, and it's I don't know how many shows could really top that, to be honest. And it's not a biased thing. I really mean that. Like it covers a lot for a sitcom. When sitcoms could do stuff like that is amazing. So, shout
And
out to.
Martin was ridiculous. He was a ridiculous person.
Yes, he
And
was.
shout out
Yes.
to Gina because she loved all of his ridiculous antics.
Dealt with his mama and everything.
Mama Payne was
Boy.
insane.
Remember, sidebar, just when Mama Payne came, when Gina was like coming up close to her, trying to ask her, trying to figure out, say, you better back up. I don't get down like that. Like, bro, it was like, bro, I'm not even on that type of energy, bro. Like,
It's
but
like,
yeah.
She had an episode, she's like, oh, it's okay, mama. Mama. She was not rocking with Gina at all.
Bro. So, man, Martin, there's talks about young Martin being a real serious drama, kind of like Bel Air, and I definitely think it could be there. I don't want young Martin though. Like as far as like the origin, I would prefer they just do what the show is, but in like an insecure way. Like I personally would like to see that. So because Bel Air everybody thought Bel Air wouldn't work. I never thought that. Like people's like, oh, they can't make Fresh Prince of Bel Air a series, but I look at everything from a serious lens, so that's my problem. Like I can see the serious tone in silly moments. That's my,
I think Bel Air couldn't work either. Like I never jumped on that, but Martin, I think just leave it where it's at to me. But I think they are really in talks of doing something. So, but
okay.
I love Bel Air. I never had a doubt about Bel Air working or not because back before they even made the show, I remember when they released that initial trailer for the
Mhm.
concept, and I was like, oh, this is kind of dope.
Yeah.
I would have to see something like that for me to get into the mode where, because I feel like with Bel Air, like with the Fresh Prince, just the simple fact that he was like the hood kid going to
Mm.
live with his rich family, he had that daddy issue, and they covered some more serious topics like that. It kind of fits that it might work in a serious way. I don't remember, like, they didn't give enough backstory to Martin's character. Like, we don't know anything about his dad, or
But
all we know is his
that
mom. Like,
that could be beneficial though.
it could be. And I think the issue with, how Gina's parents didn't really rock with Martin, that could be a point that they could use in a dramatization,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Martin. So it could work, but they would have to do, because the whole premise of Martin, like, I feel like the Fresh Prince was really funny, but the whole essence of Martin was the humor.
Mm.
So I don't know how they would like keep that essence
Mhm.
without it being comedic.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think I like I think him being just a serious, like he being a radio host. I can totally see like Gina being like out of his league or serious version, and like him being a host. Like, hey, hold on, I mean, I'll let you, like, you can see, I can see a new age version, but we'll say that for another time because we want to get in other couples. But I like where y'all coming from. I like that. Mia, so what couple you want to bring to the forefront?
Okay. I have Michael Kyle and Jay Kyle from My Wife and Kids.
Mm.
Now they're
Like that.
more early 2000s,
Okay.
but this is one of my favorite TV couples of all time. If I had to say another couple that just had that chemistry, like just amazing chemistry. Again, shout out to Tisha Campbell, because she's also Jay Kyle. And I think that her work on Martin really laid the foundation for what she was able to do on My Wife and Kids, and
Mm-hmm.
really keep up with that comedy, because Damon Wayans Sr. is one of the funniest people walking the earth. And she came in, because you see her get funnier on Martin, but she came in off the gate,
Yeah, at the gate.
um, just being hilarious in My Wife and Kids. And they just had, and they're older. They already have kids, teenage kids, and a little girl. They're already working, through, like, they have their rhythm. And you just see this dynamic of like this older married couple. And I feel like that was something really special, because it wasn't as serious as like a Cliff and Claire Huxtable. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, they weren't like an afterthought to the plot like most older couples are in TV shows. I think they really made the show.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship was the focal point, and then their kids, were an extension of their relationship, but they just were like aspirational as far as what you
I
would
got a
want.
question to ask on that, but Ash, you want to say anything about the Kyles?
Yeah, I gotta put them in as an honorable mention. Like, I actually almost put them on my list, but I was like, dang, I didn't want to have Tisha twice. But I
Mm.
really enjoy her on Wife and Kids. Like, she's killing it. Like you
Different
said,
too.
right, to come up against Damon in the comedy is very difficult, and I think she nailed it. Like, I'll go put that on now on Hulu. I think they got Wife and Kids on there. Like, it's so funny.
It
Like, their
resonates too.
dynamic. Yes, and even like the chemistry, like Mia was saying, even like the flirtations that they have, or like the talks around being intimate, like all that works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she was older and she had gained a little weight and then she lost weight. All that was throughout the seasons. And,
Mm.
they kind of put that in there a little bit when she did gain the weight and stuff. So, like, it just all worked for me. But I love Wife and Kids. So that's fire.
Yeah, but that's my wife's like damn near favorite. Like, cause that is like always the in between. If I ain't doing nothing, I'm like my phone, Wife and Kids is on. Like, and I get lured into it, and I always have a mixed. It's always a mixed bag with me with that show, and I can't be sure. Here's what I'm gonna ask y'all. I'm gonna have a crazy callback in the moment. Watch. Remember, I said I'm gonna hit y'all with the Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna tell y'all the joke is coming, and then I'm gonna lead back to it. So why my wife? Why do y'all think like? Because I'm gonna assume y'all don't have the Hughleys. I'm gonna assume y'all don't have all of us, but similar premise, kind of right, relatively. What makes this go above that? Those shows. Is it just the Damon Wayne factor, the Tisha Campbell factor, or is it like the print? The what is it about it?
Well, for me, I think it's a better show. Just out the gate, I think the show is better. I'm not a fan of DL Hughley. Like, I don't think he's funny. I've never been a fan of DL. So that I don't even remember the dynamic he had with his wife on there. I don't even remember because I just wasn't into it. Mm-hmm. I do like Dwayne Martin, and I like him a lot. Him with what's her name? Elise Neal.
Elise Neal, right?
They were pretty cool. But
wasn't she the wife on Hughley's too?
Hughley? Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Anyway, shout out to Elise Neal.
Shout out to Elise Neal, one of them ones.
All these degrees of separation, like
yes.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that because I just never got into the DL Hughley show. But I think Damon plays a big factor out of all three of them, out of this world, and I think the show was better to me. But I did like all of us so, but I feel like that was more. The show was better when it was Lisa Ray and Dwayne kind of interacting. Mm-hmm. So it was more so kind of her coming in, barging in, messing up the family dynamic, and he trying to move on. Mm-hmm. But it was just more entertaining when he was interacting with Lisa Ray.
Yeah.
Versus his like fiance. So yeah.
That's a great point. You feel that same way?
No, yeah. 100%. I think My Wife and Kids was, for one, it was just a better written show. The Wayans family, when it comes to writing comedy, they're just unmatched almost. I think also, shout out to Elise Neal. She's funny and she has her moments, but Tisha Campbell is a vet when it comes to comedic sitcom acting.
Yeah.
And the chemistry was just a little bit more believable. It was just a little bit more, you could feel the chemistry. Like you could almost think they were a real couple.
Yeah.
I feel with the Hughleys, because I watched it. I remember watching it in real time, but I don't believe it ever made it to syndication where you could watch it over and over, like reruns, and I don't know if it's on any streaming.
Yeah, it is. It's I thought it was. I thought it was on Netflix for real. After right before the Bernie Mac show. But let me see where it is. I had watched it like recently, and I was like, okay, I'm not mad at it. Like because I know back then it was. I feel like it was in the UPN.
It was.
That bag or whatever. But I watched it recently. I was like, it's not bad, but I think it's the DL thing that's like.
Like I like DL Hughley, but I think the writing on My Wife and Kids lends to why they ended up being one of my favorite couples. Even the relationship they had with the kids and the way they interacted with the kids was just so much funnier. Like every time, one of the kids did something or asked for something and he's like, nah. Like it was just, and she played into that with him. It was just more fun. It was more memorable. It was funnier. I don't know. It was just better. It was better. I remember the Hughleys came on UPN. It was that show and one other show that I watched all the time that, again, I don't even remember the name of it and I don't remember it making it into syndication, but it had Holly Robinson Pete starred in it.
Not Hanging with Mr. Cooper, not that.
No, she was older. It was
Oh,
her.
she had her own show.
She did. It was her. It was like three couples, and it was her and
Oh, with the bald dude,
yeah, the bald
like the
guy.
almost Montel Jordan looking
Oh,
dude. I
yeah.
like that show, bro.
And I
I liked
really
it too.
liked that show, but because I couldn't remember that much about it, that's the reason why. Because I like them as a couple too,
Me
but I
too.
didn't put it on my list because I couldn't remember. And I was like, if I can't remember the name of the show, I'm not gonna put it on here.
For Your Love. It came out
Yes.
Okay,
98
yeah,
to 2002.
I really liked that show.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yo, Holly Robinson Pete, she was definitely very gorgeous woman in the 90s. Just on the low, like, you know what I mean? Just on the low. Like,
Shout
so
out to Holly Robinson Pete,
for real.
fellow autism mom, doing big things,
Come on now.
advocating for autism awareness and
Come on
acceptance.
now. Come on now. Hey, different. You know what I'm saying? So y'all both are in agreement that My Wife and Kids is better than those other two shows.
For sure.
Okay. Is that right? Nah, that was the callback. It was pretty weak, but okay. So for me, I put some stuff on here. Some stuff is a little reach, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. So this show, it was mid to early 2000s. One of my favorite couples, man. Derwin Davis and Melanie Barnett. Oh yes, that was so good because the sitcoms were. I ain't gonna say they were about to get up out of here, but they wasn't quite there. But we're starting to see the stones drop for sitcoms are about to stop being relevant, and people are going more into series, like serious shows or whatever, even if it's comedic. And this came out of the water, out of the blue on CW, and then got picked up by BT, and then got picked up again recently with Malik and his mom being in the league, and it's still good, And so, but like that Derwin Davis, Melanie Barnett vibe, where she was school to be was she in school to be a nurse, or he was a doctor, and he was a professional football player and a man of faith. And just like how he was, like, shout out to Pooch Hall, Tia Mari, just like I believe that they were like, it was so good. And again, we talk about sitcoms that cover serious things. It was a funny show, but it really covered things perfectly. Like, bro, I know a lot of people don't give it the love like that, but like I love the game. Like, if you ain't watched it in a while, man, go back and watch the game. You watch the smiles that come on your face just for like, yo, the show's ridiculous, but I am so here for Kelly Pitts and I'm so here for Malik, and I'm so here for but Derwin Davis and Melanie Barnett, like, I remember how heartbroken I was when he cheated. Like, I know women definitely were, but like, I was just heartbroken with Drew Sidor, like, because he started feeling himself, and it's a tough thing for him because it was like, he never been that type of guy. It's like the best man thing. For once in your life, dog, gonna be a dog. Like, it was one of those things, but it's like, this is not the woman to do that with, because this is the one. You know what I mean? But we got to still see them work back at their relationship too, like him doing everything in his power. But it hurt her, and it hurt just as a viewer to see like what she had to go through. It taught me something. You know what I mean? So Derwin Davis and Melanie Barnett from the game, like, that's a couple right there, bro.
They are definitely on my list as well.
Oh, we do not talk before this, y'all, by the way.
Yeah, we didn't. Everything you just said, bro. And essentially they were like in the honeymoon phase. They're new to the city. He's drafted. He's the backup for the backup. He's not starting.
Yeah.
She's in school to be a doctor. So it was like they were in that grind together in their own separate careers, but still trying to make time for their little, relationship. But then they had real life things happen. Like you said, he started coming up in the NFL and then, smelling himself, and she was around the Sabre. What was the Sabres?
Yeah. The same
Yeah.
beam.
Say the
Yeah.
sunbeams.
The sunbeams.
The
Yeah. Who
sunbeams,
didn't want to be
yeah.
a sunbeam?
Me. But yeah, so the influence of Tasha Mack and Kelly Pitts, they often were not in agreement when they were giving her advice. So it was just kind of like playing devil's advocate. But yeah, just the fact that they were just in the grind together in that entry, and then they did have that separation and found their way back to each other. Definitely had Derwin and Melanie in it for sure.
Mm-mm-mm.
I have thought.
Okay. She's in
I have thought.
disagreement.
Yeah.
What you think?
Oh man. Okay. No, man. Derwin and Melanie were the messiest couple. But you know what? I can't even talk. Once I get down on my list, y'all might be like, how you gonna talk about Melanie and Derwin?
Oh, you gonna come back to it then?
But no, okay.
Now go
So
ahead.
the thing about Melanie and Derwin, love the show. The show was amazing. However, as a couple, uh, I kind of hated them. I
Mm.
just really wanted them to break up and
Mm.
never get back together on so many occasions.
Why,
Like,
why particularly did you hate them?
because I felt like he, okay, for one, Melanie, I get it. She was in med school,
Med school.
but she moved there with him for him to pursue this football career. She wasn't always extremely supportive. I also feel like he cheated. Now, realistically, we know how it goes. Young football rookie getting his shine.
Mm-hmm.
They come out of every which way. However, I didn't like that. I will never forgive Drew Sidora.
Ah man.
Hey, be like that though. I
Don't see it,
swear.
right?
I swear be like that though.
Like, girl, I will never forgive you in real life or TV for what you did.
She probably still gets stuff today, bro.
And then, like to have her playing herself and then anyway, but that and then everything that happened after they broke up, him getting somebody pregnant and then leaving their wedding in the middle of the ceremony because his baby was being born. Girl, go live your life and be happy and let this man like, nah, man. Ugh, it was just not for me. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
Fair enough. Well then what couple you want to bring to the forefront?
Oh, since you asked, my next one, because I have two couples in the same show, but I'm gonna save them for my last.
Okay.
But so next, I'm gonna do Dwayne Wade and Whitley Gilbert from A Different World.
Okay. I ain't mad at that.
Because again, another example of people being from two different sides of the tracks. Dwayne Wade was very like down home. he had they had Patti LaBelle playing his mom. He was
Mm-hmm.
just very a little bit country, but like his mom was country. He was more like hip, young, urban guy. And Whitley was rich, Southern belle, but they had the most beautiful love story and courtship because you could just see he saw past all of her frou-frou, prissy persona and saw like who she really was.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she was a rich princess and he really didn't have anything, she just believed in him and saw who he was. And it just was so amazing. And that scene with them getting back together after their conflict is one of my favorite scenes in TV.
Mm.
At her wedding when he professes his love and then they get married.
That is up there. That is up there. Well, you got what do you say about it? What do you say to that couple, Ash? Dwayne Wayne and Whitley Gilbert.
Different world I didn't really get into it too much. That's just, I know I probably should go back, but
Yeah.
it is streaming. I don't know. I mean, I've saw a few things here and there, but it isn't one that's like a staple for me. But I don't remember liking them together.
Huh.
Like, she was kind of annoying to me.
It's the
I
voice for
felt
sure.
like, right. I feel like, again, I'm not privy to the show deeply, so this is just my opinion. But I feel like,
Surface.
yeah, I feel like he had to give so much to her personality. I don't even know, how to explain it, but almost conform a little bit too much. Like,
Gosh. Go back and watch the show. It's on Netflix.
I know I'm gonna give it a shot, but like, I don't know. I didn't like them. I didn't feel like it was a glove, that fits.
Mm-hmm.
But opposites can attract. I feel like they were too opposite to me, but I feel like you kind of just tried to force a puzzle together. Again, I
Hey,
gotta
no,
go back.
let's revisit like the show. Of course, you definitely getting the '80s vibes. You're gonna get that. I always say when you go back to old shows, people that listen, like you're gonna get that dusty. You gonna get that dusty view. Like you're gonna get that definitely dried out clothes. The colors dried. Like she used to. Look, she like dun, 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 it. Dun, 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 it. Like, bro,
Chill out.
nah, like nah, but but yeah, for me, here's the challenge when we do something like this. When it comes to the couples, the hardest part for me is I gotta like both of them. This is why the Kyles didn't make my list, because I'm not as big of a fan of Tisha's character as I am of Damon's. Damon character feels like what Flex from One on One would be if he was married. There's this hip dad, but he's actually married, versus Flex is divorced, and so always that correlation is there. But and it's just my type of humor. I think sometimes it don't line up. It's not that she did a wonderful job, because I believe in them. Like, I believe in them. The fact that he didn't want her to do the show and she was the best candidate was crazy. Now bringing it back to different world, it's kind of thing. I like her as the seasons progress. I started to like her better because you do start to see her heart. You do start to see her vulnerability, especially when he comes back and he becomes like a professor at the school and stuff like that. I like it a lot more as far as their relationship. But like, Dwayne Wayne, I love that dude. Like, he's one of those dudes. Like, if I was born earlier, I would have looked to him because he represents. Shout out to Spike Lee. We talk about like depictions of like, yo, this is just everyday people. Like, we don't get a ton of everyday people. Like, everybody in a drug dealer, they ain't this ultra good basketball player, ultra smooth or ultra rich. Like, sometimes you're just an everyday person, and Dwayne Wayne represents that so well, and that's why I'm really a big fan of him. But he's still cool, and he's still, you know what I mean? So that's why they didn't make my list, because of that. Like, I feel like I gotta like both. There's one couple on here that's like, maybe not, but yeah. Is it on you, Ash, or is it on me? I can't remember.
I think it's on me, man. I think it's on me.
Shelby.
All right, so I gotta go with Maya and Darnell from Girlfriends.
Maya and Darnell. Oh,
hear
man.
me out.
We about to cook. I know it's me.
Hear me out.
All right.
Well, I like them again because they were real. Look at me. They were real and raw. They were raw. Again, I'm drawn to people that are human, and like, real life shit happens.
Yeah. And
y'all can find your way to navigate through it. Like, that's so important in a relationship or marriage. Like, I don't want the fluff and the fake. Like, they went as far as got a whole divorce and found their way back to each other. Boy. And remarried. I mean, that's huge. And then like the tables were turned because it was the perception that wasn't that Darnell was controlling, and he liked things the way that he liked them. Maya was the assistant, and then boom, she writes a book. She gets her bag up. Mm-hmm. Darnell opens up his shop that he talked about for years. So now when they come back together, they're both kind of at the top of their game. I mean, even her more so passing Darnell.
Mhm.
But I mean, they went through a lot. She cheated on him. That's like another one that hurt.
That
like
hurt,
cheated
boy.
on my boy Darnell, and he looked her in her eyes on the episode, and he said, "Baby, tell me you're not searching for something, and I'll take you back right now." And she couldn't even answer it. Like that's some real life. Like it's just the realness and the rawness. Um, but yeah, I like that they were real. It was just a real,
And what
they
show
had
is
a
this
kid,
from for the listeners?
girlfriends. They had a kid young and out of high school, young parents. So think about trying to flourish your relationship and then parent at the same time at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they didn't get it right. Do any of us in the beginning? We work through the kinks, but
You cooking for real though?
yeah.
Hey, cooking the books, cooking the books, bro.
My favorites. I gotta go with it. I got to.
Hey.
So yeah.
Okay.
Y'all like that? Did I convince?
Nah, I can't lie.
No, you ate that. You
ate that up because I was like, nah, hell no, boy, y'all done up and done it. Oh no, hell no. Like until you start really, because I like where you're taking as far as like, bro, it ain't always everything got to be up, butterflies, rainbows. It is like those complexities, and it's like, oh, because sometimes as viewers, we see somebody do something wrong. Oh, dog his ass, throw him in the trash. You know what I mean? But you making a compelling point that like, yo, this is what relationships look like, even, like that, as complicated as that was. And for them to get back together, because that's what we should be pushing in society, is like when that's your one, sometimes you do need time off. You need to be away from each other because it's like where we at right now. I ain't got nothing to give you, or you are searching for something, in the words of Darnell. So you really ate that. And I remember that, like I was so hurt with Mia. The thing with Mia, sorry, Maya. I was so hurt when Maya did that because it was similar to Derwin. Like almost right up, like you in your bag, you trying to like, you trying to figure, you kind of looking over the fence a little bit, like on some, like, I just want to be desired. And it, backfired and stuff. But they wrote it so well because his reaction was perfect. Perfect. And man, so yeah, you made a believer out of me. I was not in it, but you sold me.
Hey, what can I say?
All right. I'm gonna go with one y'all may not be as familiar with, or maybe you will, but it's from 90210. So I'm going with, now this is, some people could call this cheat code, but I don't feel like when you think 90210, you would immediately go to Dylan McKay and Brenda Walsh, but I'm going Brandon Walsh and Kelly Taylor. Again, this could be cheat code. Some people are like, oh, how y'all gonna do that? Of course, the reason I go with, and y'all can speak how y'all speak for whatever y'all may know or not know, but Brandon Walsh and Kelly Taylor, there was a seed sown in the first season at a high school dance, and obviously Brenda and Kelly are friends, and she's interested in her brother, but then when she kind of approaches, like, Brandon, what's up? He's kind of like, I look at you like a sister, and they leave it there, and that's season 1, and like sophomore year of high school, they come back to that moment, like almost sophomore, going into junior year, sophomore summer, and he goes out to Washington to meet the president, and he's got girl problems, and she pulls up out of nowhere, and he was so excited to see her, and it was like, oh, it's happening. Kelly and Brandon are getting together. It felt like the perfect fit. I can go into a whole lot of other stuff. I'm not going to do it because it's super deep, as far as like, it's a lot of things happen over those seasons. But I will say this though, and for those that are 90210 fans, really, I could say Susan Keats. That's the one that got away from Brandon, in my opinion. She was like his equal in everything. Equally as brilliant, equally as good looking, equally as ambitious. Susan Keats. But For our fans that like may not be as deep in that bag, I'm going Brandon Walsh and Kelly Taylor. So
That's a show I'm gonna have to spend a block on. Like I
Mhm.
remember bits and pieces of it, and I think Brandon was slept on.
Oh yeah.
I remember I just had to look them up because I had to see their faces, but I think I did like them two together. But I'm gonna spend a block on that because I remember the other guy. I forget his name.
Dylan. Dylan McKay.
Probably
Yeah,
he
with the
probably
hair, with the like Johnny Bravo hair type.
he got the jawline look.
I don't know, man. It could be
No, not this dude, not him. Mm-mm.
oh, maybe you're talking about there's four friends, so it's
The one that was a
Brand
kid, but he got older and he was like the
with the
finest.
low cut.
Yes, I think
Oh, you're
so.
talking
What's his name?
about what's his name? David. His name is David on the show. I think that's who you're talking
Yes.
about. That's it,
Yes.
David. And
Yeah, I like
you know he used to rap too. He got like an album and everything, bro. He was rapping. Like, he was definitely down, bro. He was definitely down.
Oh, Brian Austin Green.
Brian
That's his
Austin
name.
Green. Yeah, my dog.
I always remember just being drawn to him. Like he had an edge to him with the tattoos. He just had this smoky look. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, no. I remember like I remember seeing him and you'll see whoever they got his girlfriend is I can't remember her actual name. I listen to these pods all the time. I can't remember her actual name right now for some reason, but I remember them two. Like when I was a kid, like before watching, I just remember them two faces. But Mia, you look like you got some thoughts. You got some thoughts?
I never really watched 90210.
Okay. I think you'll like it. If based on all the time we've podded together, I think that you would enjoy a high school show going into college. I think you would. You know.
Probably, I've heard a lot about it and I've thought about watching. I just never
Yeah.
really took the time.
You said you like Degrassi?
I did.
Okay. So I think this is like, I'm not gonna say it's a precursor, but this is definitely one some of them early elements before like so.
I
I
just watched the remake of the 90210 with the like younger generation that had Mac Wilds in there.
and
Um,
Darcy from Degrassi, ironically.
I like that one a lot.
I was watching it. It was a little too buttery, Uh, but I see what they were doing, but it's a little too buttery for me. And they had to, they brought back Kelly like as a mother on there, her little sister. They did due diligence. Okay, it's on you, Mia. What's another couple you want to bring to the forefront?
Okay. So these are my last ones, and they're both from the same show, but I'm only gonna say one, and then the last one will be like the last one. But I have Miranda Hobbs and Steve Brady from Sex and the City.
Okay, I thought about them.
Is that to do with the glasses, man?
Yeah.
You got to watch the show to get the context. It's like because I know I'm not all the way further down, but I've seen enough already where I say, okay, I see. So anyway, but go ahead, give it to us, Mia.
So Miranda and Steve, again, opposites attract. They had their relationship was just crazy. For context, for Ash, who has still not watched Sex in the City.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna
Mhm.
Next time you having you a glass of wine, throw on Sex in the City. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. It's
That's it.
time.
It's perfect. Those two together, it's a perfect combination, bro.
So Miranda is very workaholic, very type A, very cold, not lovey-dovey at all. And she's very regimented, structured, and Steve owns a bar. Well, at first he didn't even own the bar. He worked at a bar. And
You're
he was a
spoiling it for me, but
bartender,
it's all good.
you know? And they meet and he just has a time breaking Miranda down, breaking her down and breaking her down. And they become like best friends within their relationship. And of course, they break up. She gets pregnant by him. They end up having a baby together and co-parenting while realizing that they love each other. But I love, love, love Miranda and Steve together. I feel like he brought out the best in Miranda. and she challenged him to be better, but he made her see what she was capable of in love, because she was so cold. You would have never thought that she could even love somebody. But he showed her softer side, and he really was patient with her, and she needed patience because Miranda is a piece of work. And I really hate what they did with their marriage and their relationship in this reboot that they've done that I don't acknowledge and don't watch. But
Dang, is that bad, huh?
listen, I watched the first season and I was like, you know what? They ain't got to worry about me. They don't got to worry about me.
Damn, I had high hopes when I got there. I'm nowhere near there. I'm on season 3, but.
But yeah, so Miranda and Steve. Mo, what are your thoughts on Miranda?
Like I totally get it. Like that concept is just, it's not, back it's I was watching I'm always watching lists on YouTube, and it was like talking about like top 10 forbidding love, stories and TV shows, and it's no this kind of serves as that was like, it shouldn't work, it wouldn't work, but it does work, and that stuff to me never blows my mind like it does for people that maybe not necessarily be as experienced, because I always see like we're tying in all of these other things that don't really matter when it comes to like love. Like these other factors don't really play into how our heart beats together, And so when I see them two together and what I've seen, it makes sense to me, because her going after maybe being with another attorney that's like that is like, who knows what that dynamic will be, versus somebody like him he doesn't have to assert authority. He just has to be himself, being a breath of fresh air that is like, I want to go into your world. How do you view this? How did you get there? Like you're a bartender, now you're on a bar. How did you get there? You're more free spirited. I'm more structured. I like that. I can learn something. And sometimes that's more valuable than anything. It's being able to teach somebody something. It could be a turn on. So
absolutely,
I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, from what I saw, I remember him being a good guy, though. I do remember him being and her being a lot. So again, we're on this opposites attract. So I mean, maybe it's there. Right. We listen and don't judge, man.
Please don't judge me.
And watch the show.
Yeah, definitely. I would say if she watched that, you got to get that 90210 in.
Yes, let's make a deal.
You down? See, look, oh, say, look, see, it's easy with a rabbit got the gun. They're like,
Ash is 0 for 2 right now.
What two? What's the two shows?
A Different World and
you got to get it in on one of them two.
I think I'd rather go Sex in the City.
Yeah, maybe so. Different World is a slow burn, to be honest.
And Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, like that'll get you right in that bag immediately. Like that's not really a slow burn, because it's a conversational. It's like how we talk. We always focus on the details. You will like it because of that.
What's these streaming on? Are these all on HBO?
Seinfeld's on Netflix. Sex and the City is on Netflix now too. Actually, all three of them are on Netflix, bro.
And Sex and the City is on Max as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, get some. Just throw some other stuff in the mix. Take Love and Basketball off your queue. Take it off the queue.
I'm watching Love Is Blind at the moment. Thank you.
Okay.
That's my show.
I tried it.
This season's trash, though.
This season is so boring. I can't even get into it.
It's putting me to sleep. We'll text off the grid, Mia, about it.
Who is it on?
Is it on me?
Wait, so you just
no, maybe it. No, it's on you, Mo.
It's on me.
Okay. Maya and Darnell
Oh, and then I thought I did Brandon Walsh and Kelly Taylor.
Oh, you did.
Oh, you did. So
Okay.
it's back. It's
So
back
back
to
on you, Ash.
Well, I had Ross and Rachel. We didn't really tap into it,
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
but that's my last one. Um, I do have an honorable mention, Roseanne and Dan.
That's actually pretty good. That's
I threw
actually
them
pretty
in
good.
the just because they was just like the OGs, old school
Old
country
school.
family.
Midwest.
That
Yeah.
little bitty house with all the kids. Like I don't know, I just like their little dynamic. So,
Is that White Family Matters?
uh,
I guess no Urkel, so I guess not. But I don't know. I was shooting from half court, like the buzzer was beating. That's all it was.
but the friend that came over all the time, she was hilarious.
Yes, she was.
So, yeah.
Hey,
And she
Roseanne was
always
a
so
staple in our life. Let's be clear, like another basic cable
yes.
sitcom that we just sat with this family. I'm sorry, I just wanted to say that. I'm getting out the way. We sat with this family. I don't bring. Every time I see Roseanne pop up in lists, I'm like, damn, bro, maybe I should go back and watch it because it meant a lot to us back then. Because it was like these are not these like these perfect, great, these super model looking couple. It's just this very average Midwest family. So anyway, I don't want to go into my whole tangent about it, but thank you for bringing it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just that intro, her intro music. Remember, it was like that. I forget how it goes. Yeah, and then she do that laugh at the end. That laugh at the end. Yeah, classic.
Hey, listen.
I'm telling you, listen to me.
Hey, the details. That's good.
But yeah, Ross and Rachel, all I had left. They just had a deeper connection. Ross was kind of nerdy, Rachel kind of spunky, and they were just a couple that I always rooted to be together. And of course, I just remember that famous episode, "We were on a break," when Ross he stepped outside of the whatever, if they were in a relationship or they broke up, but that's like the most famous episode to me in my head. But they were again opposites attract. It was one of those situations where it would look like Rachel may not have been obtainable for somebody like Ross, but he bagged her, and then they actually had a really good relationship. So yeah, I always like Ross and Rachel, and I always rooted for them. They had that quirky relationship. So yeah. So what you say about that, Mia G?
Again, cute.
Yo.
It's cute. I wasn't a huge Friends person either. Like I watched it, but I wasn't like invested in it. But it did make me think of a little honorable mention myself.
What you got?
Maxine Shaw and Kyle Barker from Living Single.
That's on my list.
My honorable mention.
That's on my list.
Really?
It is.
Okay.
Hey, listen.
Ash.
Not a great love story. I'm there in that sense. It's not a great love story, but when they were, there's a thing about, since we already in that, Kyle Barker and Maxine Shaw, their relationship is such an interesting relationship.
Enemies?
You said enemies turn lovers? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking at a list of that today on YouTube as well. It's like, and there's this there to me. It's like they're both brilliant. Like there's this thing about this upper echelon when it comes, like we've been talking about opposites attract kind of with a lot of these relationships. But when they're both like, yo, I'm in my bag. Like Kyle's doing really well. I don't know. I think he's in marketing or something like that. And she's an attorney, a well-renowned, attorney. She's in her bag. He's in his bag. And just like, I'm looking at them and these are like two good looking people, and of course, like me being dark skinned, we grew up in the area. Like that's a whole nother, y'all go listen to Another Week in the Books, Crying at the Lunch Table. There's a deeper thing about shades and stuff like that. And so just seeing them two on television and just seeing and they both were so intelligent, I felt like. And so I feel like they were worthy to one another. Like I never felt like that when any characters on television, like, oh, this person's worthy to. I never even thought about that conversation until seeing Kyle Barker and Maxine Shaw. But I did really like what? What's so funny?
Ash, bye.
What?
Goodbye, ma'am.
That's another person that just didn't age the way that you might have thought. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. I can see
But
that.
still,
Yeah.
that's my guy. But yeah,
I think it's TC something like that, but I think it's TC. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely there. And he was. I think he was. They had him. I gotta watch that movie. There's a movie that he was the lead man because he was about to. He was supposed to like blow up because of this role, and and then I think they kind of blackballed him, and then everything was what it was, But like,
He's
and
in one of my favorite horror movies as well.
which one? Final Destination.
Two.
Two. Exactly. Oh man, why they had to do him like that?
Hey.
Oh, man, one of these is gonna come up. I know it. I'm nervous. um, I got a few more. I don't know. Did y'all have any more? I can be brief.
I have
that's
one.
all right.
Okay, yeah, go for me.
Okay. I have Carrie Bradshaw and John James Preston, aka Mr. Big, because talk
Why
about a
did they call him
bad.
Mr. Big?
What you say?
Why did they call him Mr. Big?
Okay, now this is why you need to watch the show,
I still don't know.
ma'am.
I don't know, and I'm season 3. I still don't know.
Okay. So when she met him, so they met in season one. Carrie is a column writer for a newspaper in New York. And he's a little older. He's already a very successful investment banker. They're saying, like, in the show, they call him like the next Donald Trump because he's got real estate investments and he's very successful. And so she calls him Mr. Big because he's just like this big catch.
Like larger
And
than
then
life
it
type
turns
thing.
into her big love. So it's Mr. Big.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I
Like
figured it
he
wasn't what you might think it is, so I
Yeah.
want to
Like
ask.
he has a driver. He's not hailing cabs. He has the suits and he's the uncatchable catch almost.
One to be desired.
And man, this couple took me through the ringer
See,
from
I'm
start to finish.
don't okay. You can't spoil this one for me. Like you already spoiled the pregnancy. I can't have you spoil this one for me because I'm
Hey,
just where he got engaged. I'm at season 3. I know that it's in go. I know she's gonna meet. I know she's gonna meet a guy. She's gonna end it off with him. But like I don't know the build towards it. So
okay, okay. Here's what I'll say.
Ask gotta watch Sex in the City now. Like
This
this is
show
an
has been
internal.
out for 20 years plus, but I won't spoil it for you
Well, no,
because
I tell you what. If you gotta
my
say what you gotta say, I'll take my headphones off.
no, no, no.
Okay.
All I'll say is this. Even at this point when he gets engaged, it was one of those moments where I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
of course.
Big, what are you doing? Like, Carrie, what are you doing? Like, they took me through it. And
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
why I say that I'm like how I'm gonna talk about Duran and Melody because Big and Carrie,
Oh, it's right there.
yeah,
It's right there.
they took me through the ringer, but I always rooted for them. And you see all the discourse online about like now that we're in the late, the 2020s,
Yeah.
everybody sees everything through a different lens. It's
Revisionist.
not, yeah, revisionist history. It's not the 90s anymore. So we have like Big was toxic, Carrie was toxic, he didn't want her, blah, blah, blah. Like they have all
Yeah.
of these new theories about why she shouldn't have been with him and blah, blah, blah.
Like shut up.
But I ain't trying to hear none of that. I ain't trying
None
to
of
hear.
that, bro. I'm in the '90s when I'm watching this. Like,
They were always in game for me.
yeah,
Love them, even though they took me through the ringer from start to finish. And I mean, when I say start to finish, I mean all the way up until season one of the reboot. Like they took you, they take you through it. But there's something about, as a hopeless romantic, there's something about feeling like, even though it just never seems like it's working, there's always seems to be an obstacle for this couple. You just know that no matter who else they're with, it's just never good. Like it can't be them.
hmm
Like she can have other great boyfriends. He can have other great girlfriends, fiance, whatever, but it's not them. There's something that about Carrie and Big that was, I can't wait till you finish Mo and you watch that first movie, that first Sex and the City movie, and you see what I mean about it can be messy, it's messy, it's it's not it's not perfect. It even might seem like it doesn't make sense to anybody but them, but it makes sense. Like it has to happen.
yeah. I can see that. You know, I can see when C's are sown so strongly. I can see that.
And
Um,
I'm a huge, like, Sex and the City is my thing. Like I've watched and rewatched this show like 3, 4 times, and I've seen each of the movies. I don't even know how many times, especially the first movie.
I can
But
see. I can a show like this. I can see that. That makes perfect sense. I can see
and I'm like, I'm
easily.
so invested in these characters,
hmm
and
This world, this New York vibe,
yeah,
this,
and
this, yeah,
it
all of
was
that.
like the most unrealistic portrayal of
Right.
of what life would be like. I mean, granted, they were single white women on the Upper East Side, New York,
And you
but
just, oh, you're at brunch.
and
I'm
she's
going to
just
brunch.
making
Like,
it. Like she has a beautiful apartment and she has all these designer clothes
bruh,
and she's making she really wasn't making that much money at the beginning. It's just like it was crazy,
bruh.
but it was an escape.
Yeah, I like this world. Okay, so my last few, then I'll just kind of put it in a bundle here. I got Stefan Urkel and Laura from Family Matters. I got Tommy Strong and Pamela James. And then lastly, actually, no, not lastly. I had a few. I guess I've been talking more on y'all's, but George Costanza and Susan. And lastly, Jay Hogar and Manny Santos. So, is there anything? I'll just throw the ball in your court before I respond and give kind of my reason. With Jay Hogar and Manny Santos, this is Degrassi, obviously, Jay and Manny. I've spoke about this in our text chain. Ash, do you remember that couple at all on Degrassi?
Ooh, I remember we had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who I said I liked Manny with, but then we brought. Oh, you said. Oh, we said which couple, right? That we thought was like the best.
Yeah. Because she been with Craig and JT and the other random dude, with curly hair that was like short lived.
Jay and Manny. Another, the trend for the episode, opposites attract. Got this bad boy, but she was also like the edgy girl too. You know
Yeah,
what I
she
mean? She
was.
had got into that bag of rebelliousness.
I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be
Yeah,
cute.
right. I think they complemented each other. I thought it was, I thought the toxic level was gonna be way up there, but it
Oh
actually ended
yeah,
up having a nice soft landing to it. So
yeah.
yeah, I put them together. And I'm not the Pamela James and Tommy. Eh,
Mm.
I'm either here or there with that one. And,
Fair.
the other one is a soprano one, right?
Well, no, it's Seinfeld, George
Oh,
Costanza, and Susan.
see, I'm
Well,
gonna
then
let Mia
Family
talk.
Matters, Steve Urkel and Laura.
Oh, um, it just took so long to get there for me with them. Like once it did get to that point, it just took too long for it to get there.
Yeah.
So, by the time it got there, it was like, y'all done took all the air out of me. So, yeah.
What about you, Mia? What's your
All
responses
right,
to those
Jay and
four?
Manny. Yeah, sure. Cute. um, Manny was my girl though. I can't
Shout
say
out to
that was my girl.
Manuela.
Loved her. I was I
I was gonna marry her.
I feel like I was all the way here for her little rebellious villain arc. I was like, you go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. Um, you said Pam and Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like Martin. No,
Mm.
get away. I love them as separate characters, but
Yeah. But there's a couple.
them
Yeah.
together, I was like, hmm, it was cute.
Okay.
I didn't hate them as a couple, but I think the most what I got the most of a kick out of was seeing how Martin hated on them as a couple. That was my favorite thing about
Whoa! I better fall back.
I guess I better go here, huh?
it. Because it was like annoying because as my friend taught me that me and her
Mhm.
have this constant back and forth and now y'all dated and you want to be defensive. Like, boy, bye.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
been doing this. It's not gonna stop.
Yeah.
Um,
Tough position to be in.
and then you said
Stefan or Kel.
Stefan Urkel and Laura. I wasn't crazy invested because I feel like it was just so silly to me.
It
It was so
was.
silly because Steve was in love with Laura and
Mm.
then he had to turn into Stefan for her to see him and like him.
Buddy
But
love thing. Yeah.
yeah, it was like, okay. I'm
Did
kind of
George?
with Ash. Like by the time it's like, okay, y'all, it's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah. And
Now,
then
I'm so surprised you said
I have reasons.
George and
Susan.
like what? Who
Yes.
didn't even like her? He was trying to get out of that marriage
Yes.
so many times.
Yes.
Like it was it made for an
Oh man.
entertaining.
Absolutely.
It was very entertaining. Cause Susan was really rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he fell into the engagement because Jerry had got engaged.
Yeah.
Jerry called off his engagement and he's like, wait, we were supposed to do
Bruh.
this. So now he's stuck being engaged.
Stupid George.
And he was trying to get out of it any way he could think of. And she just was not going for any.
Yeah.
And
Like trying to
it
find
was,
habits to make her like want to get out of the marriage, smoking cigarettes and
yeah, she was just like,
yeah,
no. And then poor Susan
got off by the envelopes.
got the envelope.
By the envelopes. It's
Look
crazy.
at envelope. She got poisoned.
Yeah, that was so my conclusion then.
That was crazy. But
It,
I that was a good one. I would have never said
oh
that.
yeah, because what we got from it, that's more of what the focus like with George Costanza and Susan. We got so much from that material.
Yeah.
That's where why that, but I'll come back. Well, since I'm on that, I'm just gonna get my brief on the ones I brought up. I want to hear y'all first. George and Susan, we got so much great material. And then like you got to remember, like sometimes you'll forget like the build up towards it, where remember the video store, like him and her were kind of dating, and they were off. Then she kind of got in her lesbian bag out of nowhere, and you know what I mean. And then it's just like in the same episode, Kramer turned the lesbian woman straight, so it's like, you know, that funny joke of they go against me and he brings them back. Like that whole like joke was hilarious. He just really had to know, what is it about me that made you go that direction when it's not really about George, and that pursuit alone is what made him go hard to pursue her, and then everything that transpires. Even then, the fact that like Jason Alexander and the young lady that played her, the fact that the chemistry was off and they still gave us really good material is amazing. Which is why they obviously got her out of there. Stefan, Urkel, and Laura. It was just something. It was kind of like a back and forth. It's like it's not that deep, but I just wanted to do it because I just love Stefan's character. Like I really identified with his level of cool and what he brought to that show, and what it meant. Like, but that's a whole nother tangent, so I won't spend more time there. Tommy and Pam, I know y'all not so much for it. The thing I like about them when they were playing the video games and like having that brief moment, and she was like, looked like they was about to kind of get to it. She jumps on them, and you know, they're about to go do the thing that they do. You know, I think that, and there's even a trailer out. There's like this Bel Air version of Tommy and Pam. Have y'all seen this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to send you this link. Somebody created this dramatized version of Tommy and Pam, and then Cole comes in.
I feel like I've seen this before. Did you
Had
send
to it? No, I ain't seen it. I ain't sent it, but there was like a wave a few years ago where this was sent, and so I'm gonna send it when we get out off of here. So, but I thought they were interesting. I didn't bring up. I thought about bringing up Coach Robinson. You know, Cedric Robinson and Levita Alizé. I didn't bring them up, but that's definitely a couple that I really enjoy. And then lastly, with Jay and Manny, if I ain't gonna even give it up crazy, just go and watch the Degrassi movie, the two-parter that's like at the end of that season. Then Degrassi goes to Hollywood. What Jay did for her to like get in her bag because she wanted to be an actress was why I think they were a perfect couple. Because I was like, oh, they really complement each other in the right way. Because she really helped him get more motivated and stop being like a douchebag for real. So, yeah, that's just a little brief conversation we wanted to have on this Friday. Hopefully, y'all enjoying y'all Friday. Hopefully, it's y'all payday. I can not only just pay bills, but get you a little good meal, get you a little something for you. Not only for you, for your kids. You know what I mean? You know how Friday is. Friday night. Just got paid. But before we get out of here, we always like to do the reveal. So next month, by the time y'all hearing this, we'll be getting ready for March. And what better to do film-wise in March than March Madness? So we figure we'll get into some sport films. Obviously, it won't be just sports, but it'll be sports themed with some deeper concepts that will be in these films. So without further ado, Ash will be leading us like she does every month with our first sport movie of March Madness. So Ash, what will we be reviewing for this movie? And we don't know, we haven't had a conversation, so we have no idea what's going to be said. Ash, you have the floor.
I'm so nervous. This came down to the wire last minute. Was deciding between two. Maybe one of y'all will pick the other one, but we're taking it back to 2005 with the legendary Samuel L. Jackson.
Legendary is crazy.
Coach Carter.
That's crazy calling it legendary, bro.
Samuel
knew it.
Legendary.
No, bro.
I love Coach Carter. I love it.
I like the movie. I do like the movie. I'm about to have some. I'm about to really try to build up some jokes here for this movie. But like calling it legendary is crazy for MTV movie.
The legendary Samuel Jackson.
Ah, okay. I see what you did there.
We listen and don't judge.
Turn on our listening ears.
You stupid. Try to like, you know. But what made you pick that pick before we get out of here, Ash? Between the two that you had. Why that
It's
one?
one of my favorite movies. It was a tight race. It didn't come down to which one I like better. They're both equally like there for me. I think this one's a little shorter. So I know our last few movies have been, longer movies. I mean, this is not a short movie, but I think this is shorter than my other one. So it kind of just came down to something as simple as that. But uh, it's a staple for me. I watch it all the time. I love it. Samuel is amazing. I think he kills any role he does. So yeah, and basketball, duh.
I mean, yeah, right. Tied it back to the love and basketball joint. All right. Well, y'all heard it here. Y'all know now the next movie that we'll be reviewing is Coach Carter. Y'all stay tuned. Obviously, when we're going to review Coach Carter, it'll be Mia's pick, and she'll give us a reveal on that, and the cycle will continue. And then, of course, we'll bring you another episode of a TGIF concept. But this time, it will not come from me. I'm putting y'all on the spot right now. We'll be in the text chain, but the next concept for our television division of the Childish Grown Up Show will come from one of the ladies, because I think y'all are so brilliant and I think y'all got something. So y'all got 3 weeks. So it's not like right away, but I'm putting them on the spot because we keep it a bean on this show. So y'all ladies start thinking about some stuff. Whoever goes whoever how y'all put it up, it don't matter to me. But I'm putting it in y'all. look, it's like, hey. But I'm putting the ball in y'all court, so I'll stay on y'all to see what y'all come up with. But nonetheless, man, we thank y'all for tuning in, man. The lights is coming on. We gotta get back to the crib. We gotta get our clothes ironed. We gotta have mama iron the clothes because we gotta get ready for school tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So that's we gotta leave y'all behind. But hopefully y'all we ain't gotta get ready for school, but we gotta get ready for Saturday morning cartoons since this is a Friday. So y'all tune in. We'll be back on Wednesday for our next episode. Thank y'all for listening. Shout out to the Stoop Kids. Y'all can reach out childishgrownups3@gmail.com, as well as our Instagram, Childish Grownups. Peace out.